I don't want to see a doctor. I don't want to talk to a doctor. I am so sick of being dismissed over and over. I know that if I go to this appointment and I get dismissed and I get not believed and I don't get a solid plan to do something about my back pain, I'm gonna lose it. I am going to lose it. Hey friends, I am in such a bad mood today. I'm in such a funk. This week I don't know what is going on. It's just been hard. I'm feeling super discouraged. Everything seems to be going wrong. Do you ever have one of those weeks? I don't even know where to start. It's just been a busy week. A lot of stuff has not been the way that I was hoping things were gonna go. And I'm just drained. I am back at having migraines every single day for an entire month. It started just before I went to Holland to meet with my brother for the book's illustration. And it's been a month now, and they have been daily, like every single day. And those migraines have been so difficult to deal with. They affect me cognitively, they make me nauseous, and I am taking my abortives every single day, and it just takes the edge off, and they make me so tired, and they also just make me like foggy, like worse brain fog than normal. And I do use my head at term to device, and that really helps me cope when the pain is like, when it feels like it's splitting my head open. It really helps with that. But nevertheless, it is something that I am dealing with on a daily basis. I'm having to use this device on a daily basis. I'm having to take the abortive on a daily basis, and I'm still feeling nauseous. And I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from the side effect of the medications. I'm exhausted from the pain. I'm exhausted of pushing through and still trying to live my life and keep up with my commitments, in spite of all those extra symptoms that I'm feeling. And it's just exhausting. And I think last night, like, is the straw that broke the camel's back, and our puppy got into something. I was cleaning the bathroom, and there was a body scrub. It was a homemade body scrub that we made with coffee and sugar and almond oil. And anyways, I by mistake left it on the floor, and she got into it, and she ate half of the container of a coffee body scrub. Thank goodness it was homemade, and we knew exactly what was in it, and everything was natural. But coffee is toxic for dogs. And so we ended up having to take her to the emergency vet last night. She was jumping off the walls, like she was so hyper. She was like literally climbing on countertops and just like jumping from one surface to the other, and her heart rate was faster and she was getting warmer, developing a little bit of a fever, and we had to take her to the vet, and I was there until like 2 in the morning. And not only the emotional stress, but now financial stress as well, because a trip to the emergency vet is not cheap, and December is not the best time of the year to be getting some big extra expenses. Also, I got a call from a rheumatologist this week with the results of a repeat MRI that I did here, because they would not accept my MRI that I did in Brazil. And even though the MRI in Brazil did not specifically show spondyloarthritis, it did show degenerative disc disorder and some nerve compression and some disintegration of the bones and some other things. There were like several things that they said was not normal for someone at my age, like some wedging and anyways, a bunch of stuff. I'll link the video where I go over this MRI I did in Brazil. And so she repeated the MRI here and it showed nothing. I looked at the report and everything just goes normal, 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 normal. And I'm like, I'm just confused. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. A lot of what they saw in Brazil corresponds with pain that I feel. So to me, that makes more sense. How come they're saying that there's nothing in this MRI here? Like, this is, can I trust diagnostic testing? Can I trust doctors? Can I trust the medical system? Like, what the heck? Like, what is this? And today now I have my appointment with the pain clinic, the one that I messed up last time. I'll leave the link for this video here as well, the one I messed up my pain clinic appointment. But anyways, it got rescheduled for today and I have to go there. And right now I am just so like, I don't want to see a doctor. I don't want to talk to a doctor. I am so sick of being dismissed and of people not caring. And I know that if I go to this appointment and I get dismissed and I get not believed and I don't get a solid plan to do something about my back pain, I'm gonna lose it. I am going to lose it. I am just like already in the verge of having a panic attack. Like, why doctor's appointments are so traumatizing? I'll tell you why. Because of the history of being gaslighted over and over, of leaving appointments with no plan for improvement. And your hopes being shattered, because when you are waiting for a specialist, when you're waiting for an appointment, you have hopes. The reason why you're going there is because you're hoping that they can help you. And so when you go there and they dismiss you, they don't believe you, or they tell you there's nothing wrong, or they just simply tell you, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do, your hopes are shattered. They are a bunch of broken pieces on the ground. And then you're left to pick up those pieces and carry on with your life. And that is what I'm about to walk into. So I need to have a shower to put myself together, because I got very little sleep from this whole ordeal last night, which was very traumatic, and go see this doctor. Wish me luck, guys. I'll try to bring you guys along. Yeah. Also, guys, I want to show you something. There we go. We have merch. Rocking the Chronically Chill t-shirt. Very suiting for today for someone who's about to have a panic attack to go to the doctor's office. I thought a Chronically Chill t-shirt would be very fitting and inspiring. So I will talk more about this in a future video, but I do have some merch for sale, and these are all based and inspired in the illustrations that my brother did for the book, for Life of Mine book. And they are already available at Shopify, Etsy, and YouTube store. So if you just go on the tab under the video and scroll all the way to the right, there's going to be a store tab, and you can see what's available there. All right, I need to slow down my breathing, dry my hair, get ready, and just do this, right? Just do this. I can do it. All right, guys, we made it to the underground parking. It is pretty busy, so I hope it won't be a problem to find parking here either, but it should be okay. I'm on time. I still have time, so definitely less stress than last time, but nevertheless, super nervous. I need to get to the yellow section, so hopefully I'll be able to find a space at the yellow section and not have to walk for too long, because I do have a bit of a pinched nerve on my pelvic area that it is like shooting. It is not sciatica. It's not going down my leg. It's kind of going inside my spine. So anyways, I don't feel like walking a lot because it hurts when I walk. Okay, can you tell I'm nervous? I'm nervous. Well, guys, it's done. It's over. It is almost 5:30 p.m. and I left home at 1. That was an insane amount of waiting, and also the appointment was pretty long. I am honestly exhausted. I'm so sorry about this terrible lighting. I just got home, and I think what I'm going to do is I'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning, because I am brain fried and I want to tell you everything that happened there. So I'll talk to you guys in the morning and we'll catch up. All right. See you in the morning. Hey guys, good morning. I am definitely in much better spirits this morning than I was yesterday.
Let me tell you all about my appointment now that I have got some sleep and I feel a little bit more rested. So there was definitely a lot of waiting involved. The last appointment that got canceled because I arrived 20 minutes late, they were right on time. So they're like, we need to reschedule because you're late. Fair enough. But then yesterday I arrived almost an hour early to my appointment. And guess what? They were running late. They were running late almost an hour, which meant I waited almost 2 hours for that appointment. That was crazy. That was exhausting, and I had not eaten before I went, so I was like starving. My blood sugars were low. I was so anxious, as you saw before the appointment. Anyways, when my time came, I didn't feel rushed at all, so they were running behind, but when they did see me, they really gave me the care and the time and the attention that I needed. And I was first seen by a physician assistant, and she took the history, she did some examinations, and after that, she called in the doctor, which then took another probably half an hour waiting. And that was something like unusual about this appointment, is that the doctor acknowledged being late and she apologized and she thanked me for my patience, which has not been my experience at all in the past. Usually doctors have this idea that they're giving you a favor. And even though I am not paying themselves, like it's all part of the universal healthcare system here in Canada, they are being paid, and they are being paid by my tax dollars. So this whole thing is like, oh, you know, get what you can, be thankful for what you get, and, you know, we're doing you a favor. This is bullshit. It is absolutely wrong. And this whole change in attitude that I saw in this clinic, of them being aware of my weight and, you know, being thankful for my patients and apologizing, it was such a breath of fresh air. So definitely a much better experience in that regards. And they discussed several different things with me. The first one is they are going to change my pain medication, not the one that I am on daily, but the one that I take when things get out of control, because I was getting a lot of skin reactions from that medication. I was getting a rash, a pretty bad rash that was turning into sores in my body. And so every time I was in a lot of pain, I had to think like, what is going to be worse? Is it this pain right now, or is it what I'm gonna have to deal after? And that was not fun dealing with that. So they're gonna change my medication and see how I do with it. The other thing she brought up, which I thought was really interesting that I had never heard before, is she said, one, we should do a pharmacy consultation because you have such big history of anaphylaxis reactions to medications, adverse reactions, and it's kind of hard to keep putting your body through those trials and trying something new and kind of going through those, you know, attacks on your body. And they can do a pharmacy consultation where, one, they will look at interactions between medications, because also when you get to a point where you're taking so many different medications, your body metabolizes everything different, everything's slower, and also they may have interactions. So having a pharmacy consultation where they go over every single medication, they help you understand what's the best way to flush this medication out of your system once it gets processed by the liver. So I thought that was really interesting. And the other thing she mentioned is a genetic test. And I think the test that she's referring to is the one that I mentioned at the Future of Fibromyalgia video, which is a test where they see how your body will react to certain medications, and they can figure out what the best treatment is for you. And I believed at the time when I made that video, it's a pretty expensive test. It's about, I think, $1,000 at the time that I researched that video. and is obviously not covered by universal health care here, but it could potentially be covered by my insurance. So that's something that we're gonna look into. I have never been offered anything like that. The other thing they're gonna do is they have a migraine clinic there. So they're referring me to that. They are also referring me to physicians that do treatments, injections. They do steroid injections, they do lidocaine injections. And she acknowledged that that is not addressing the cause of the problem. And she was pretty honest and said, like, we may never know what is causing your pain, but we do need to have tools to help you cope. And these are one of those, for those times where you feel you really can't handle it anymore and you need a break. They may be a short-term solution to give you a break. And then I mentioned the MRI, like the discrepancy between the two MRIs. I explained that I had gone to Brazil, that my rheumatologist here would not accept, and then ordered another one, and that they reported very, very different results. And she said, like, this is very odd, very unusual. And she said that if I do go ahead with treatments, that the doctors that do the treatments, they would look at the images themselves and not the report. So they will look at the images from Brazil, they will look at the images here, because a lot of the times, like, it's subject to interpretation, and whoever is the radiologist that's doing the report can have a huge impact on what the doctors read. Because my rheumatologist didn't look at the pictures, she just read the report, and the report from here is like, oh, everything is beautiful. And anyways, we need to compare the pictures, right? The one thing that was different, the MRI I did in Brazil, I did with contrast. And the one that I did here was without contrast. And they did tell me in Brazil that a contrast does help the image. It does help you see more detail. So I wonder if maybe that's why they saw more things. But anyways, just again, having that acknowledged and not just being dismissed and saying, no, we're gonna brush this one off and it is what this one says. No, they're like, we should look at both. So that was very reassuring. She also offered me a 8-week alternative coping mechanism program they have. And they have nutritionists, they have a physiotherapist, they have exercise specialists, they have counseling, I think. Anyways, they have a bunch of like alternative, other than medication and treatment, ways of dealing with pain, which I think is fantastic, because this is really what we need. We need a very comprehensive approach from all teams. And so I'm like, yes, absolutely, sign me up for that one. So I don't know when the next course starts, but I am definitely on the list to start that one. And so overall, that was such a positive experience. And all that stress and all that panic attacks that I was having yesterday for nothing. But you have to understand the trauma that comes from past experiences and past doctor interactions where you're constantly being dismissed and not believed. It really changed my mood. Even though like I am in the same amount of pain that I was yesterday, just the fact that I felt seen, believed, and I have a plan. I have hopes again. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to have hope when you have a chronic illness. Because if you don't have that, that is when you fall in despair. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that you are able to find hope, that you find people that listen to you, that are looking into helping you. And if you don't have that, I hope you have faith, because that is the other one that carries you. Hope and faith is the core of living with chronic illness. And so I hope you are able to have that and find that in your life. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and I'll see you in the next one.